everybody, and welcome to Right Here, Right Now, live Buffalo football talk presented by Forefathers Organics. I'm your host, Alex Brasky, alongside my co-host, Ajay Cybulski, here for the Batavia Daily and Livingston County News. Each week, we'll discuss Buffalo's favorite football team, along with all the times from Orchard Park, thanks to our friends at Forefathers Organics.
Unlock the power of nature with Forefathers Organics, your premium CBD store. We offer the highest quality CBD and hemp products to liberate your mind, body, and soul, helping you live happy and free. Our mission is driven by excellence and transparency, using cutting-edge scientific methods to combat stress and target issues at their source. From potent ingestible CBD to soothing topicals, all our products are USDA certified organic. Discover all natural wellness from farm to table. Visit forefathersorganics.com for more information.
All right, AJ, a little bit gusty out here on the field at Highmark Stadium, but the Bills get a big win, a comeback win at that, trailing 17-3 in the first half to the Arizona Cardinals. They storm back. Josh Allen puts the team on his back, and the Bills come away, like I said, with a much needed opening day victory. It looked really ugly there in the first half, but the Bills able to salvage things and come away with the win. Allen finishes 18 of 23, 232 yards passing, 2 passing touchdowns to go with 2 rushing touchdowns, the most notable of which another hurdling touchdown, AJ, jumping over defenders into the end zone for the score. Allen would not be denied in this one. He only threw 2 passes during the first half, but finished the second half 16 for 21. So a really good performance from Allen in the final 2 quarters to help the Bills earn the Week 1 win. Bills fans were waiting to explode after that first half, but the comeback kind of extinguished any concerns or any huge concerns that the Bills fans may have had following this.
Yeah, it was a really weird and unique first half. You know, Josh Allen only with 5 to 6 passing attempts in that first half, which, you know, that was kind of what my sentiment was after the first half was, you know, hopefully that doesn't happen again. But again, with the Cardinals, they possessed the ball over 20 minutes in that first half. And the Bills only had the ball for a little around 9 minutes. So not much possession in the first half. But again, they get it going late, find a rhythm, right, get a touchdown there before the half, and then come out in the second half and respond with a nice quick touchdown drive as well. So tie the game up. Then the defense starts kind of picking up where the offense left off, gets a stop, gets the ball back. So I think the team started slow on both sides, right? Josh Allen fumble to start the game. The defense a little shaky. Kyler Murray, his presence. I know you mentioned it earlier in the game that the pass rush was really lacking from this Bills team. And then you felt, you know, we'll get to the player of the game or one of the players of the game here in a moment, I'm sure. But this Bills defense just really rallied, picked up the defense. You lose Taron Johnson early, right? You have to adjust a little bit. But all in all, I think with the Bills and what they did pressure-wise in the second half and bringing those multiple players up the middle really forced Kyler Murray to go nowhere because he was having a lot of success stepping up into the pocket. And then when the Bills kind of adjusted to that and were able to fill the middle with a bunch of defenders, it really helped that defense. So again, huge win, like you mentioned, for this team. And again, with the schedule that's upcoming, you got a Thursday night tilt already, only 4 days away here, Alex. So a flip turn of the page, but all in all, like we've mentioned, a great start for the Bills, especially in the second half.
Yeah, good correction from you there. Josh Allen finishes the first half 5 of 5. I had him at 2 of 2. I'm going to have to make a change in my 5 takes. That must have been before that final drive that I had him at 2 of 2. But nonetheless, Allen, a big performance throughout that second half. And you mentioned it, the Bills defense really doing a nice job slowing down the Kyler Murray-led Cardinals offense. Murray had his way with the Bills defense throughout that first half, but the second half, a much better job by the Bills defense, limited Kyler Murray to 5 of 12 passing for 31 yards throughout that second half, and obviously the big play at the end to stop him on 4th down and force that turnover on downs. I thought the Bills defense also did a solid job defending against the Cardinals' rushing attack, thought to be one of their strengths coming into this game. You knew they were going to rely on James Conner. They limited him to 47 yards rushing and a touchdown on 15 carries. So the Bills defense looks shaky at times, but you get the 3-sack performance from Greg Rousseau, as John Roberts says, probably the defensive player of the game and perhaps the AFC defensive player of the week when it's all said and done. He gets the strip sack. He also had a sack on 3rd down, just game-changing play after game-changing play. And then you have Von Miller breaking out as well with a sack. And his leadership means so much to this team and so much to this defense. And I asked Sean McDermott after the game what it means to have the productivity match that leadership that Von continued to show despite underperforming last year. And he said it just really means the world. Obviously, he still was a voice in that locker room, being non-productive last year. But when you're able to put some productivity on the field and become one of the team's performing players, your leadership's certainly going to mean more to your teammates. One big loss for the Bills defense, Taron Johnson, a forearm injury. He did not return to the game. Sean McDermott did not provide details on that injury after the game, but it doesn't look good for Taron Johnson, as, like I said, he left and was not able to return. Josh Allen also, along with Johnson, went into I would expect into that x-ray room. Allen definitely did. We saw him go into that x-ray room. I would imagine Taron Johnson did throughout the course of the game. Allen dealing with an injury to his non-throwing hand. He says that he was going to get it x-rayed and looked at by the doctors throughout the course of the week. Couldn't really give his opinion on the severity of that injury. So a good performance from the Bills defense, a heroic performance from Josh Allen. James Cook also getting involved. Keon Coleman with a reception. Khalil Shakir with a touchdown. But the Taron Johnson injury, certainly something to be concerned with. And perhaps Josh Allen's injury, something to be concerned with as well.
Yeah, losing Taron Johnson in the first quarter, the way it happened too, it was like a simultaneous Taylor Rapp tried to make a play on the ball and kind of rubbed up on Taron Johnson, and you could see him kind of in some discomfort on the sideline on the broadcast side of things, holding that hand and wrist. So, and again, like you said, it remains to be seen where that stands. Josh Allen with the hand injury landed right on it, kind of put a lot of weight on it when he hurdled that defender. And, he said post-game, about that and said, that's probably not a play that, I should be doing a lot. You're not going to win a lot in the league doing stuff like that. So
said you're not going to make a living on it, but at the same time, he's made a living on it for about 6-7 seasons now.
Yeah, so there wasn't too much injury, concerns except the Taron Johnson thing. So that that's a good thing. Hopefully they can get him back sooner rather than later. I thought Cam Lewis, Jamarcus Ingram, both filled in quite well for this team. But I think another underappreciated part of this game, and I guess I'll get to Greg Rousseau as well, was the fact that Marvin Harrison Jr., who had a drop in the game, only had one catch for 4 yards. So the 2024 fourth overall pick held to one catch for 4 yards. Christian Benford, Rasul Douglas, tasked with guarding, one of the best receiver prospects in the last decade, and they shut him down, right? They shut him down to one catch, 4 yards. That's a phenomenal performance from that cornerback duo and something that should be applauded as well. And then the MVP of the game, Greg Rousseau, you just saw him flash during the preseason in that game, and throughout training camp, he was just dominating whoever he was, asked to go against during training camp. And I thought he really looked well today. He was finishing, his physicality, his versatile moves, right? He wasn't just winning with power, he was winning with speed. And just his frame, his build is just such a presence in the run and pass game, right? He not only did he have 3 sacks, he had 3 tackles for loss. So he can do it as a run defender and a pass rusher. I mean, if he can really continue this, he could be a really top pass rusher in the NFL moving forward. And then last but not least, Von Miller rewarded with a nice sack. I thought he had great push off the line of scrimmage, pushed the right tackle right into Kyler Murray's lap, and was able, Kyler Murray kind of tripped, and you saw Miller, run really emphatically to tap him to get the sack for the stat sheet. His first sack since the 2022 season. And I really thought that was well-deserved because throughout the game, I think if you're playing a less mobile quarterback, Von was winning enough on the edge where he might have came away with a couple more.
Yeah, certainly. Von looking much, much stronger than he did last season. Let's stay on the defensive side of the ball. AJ, Cam Lewis comes in for Taron Johnson, and if it weren't for Greg Rousseau, Cam Lewis may have had rights on Defensive Player of the Game honors for this one. He finished the game with 9 tackles, I believe, and really all over the field. Once again, coming in for the injured Taron Johnson and showing no fear out there. He's been in the system for a while. This team obviously comfortable with him, and he just looked incredibly comfortable out there, making play after play, big stops in the fourth quarter, time after time. Cam Lewis really came up big in this game.
Yeah, Cam Lewis was flying all over the field. Excuse me. I might sneeze here. No, I'm good. All right. And you mentioned it. Like, he plays fearless, right? Like, he's a very physical guy, kind of that Taron Johnson prototype, like an undersized player that likes to hit, and he's a very physical player. And I thought he played really well. Finished, you said he finished 10 tackles, so 10 combined, 7 solo. So a very good performance for Cam. And he stepped right in. He was asked, he was going to be the dime safety going into this afternoon's game, but it turned out that
I got him with 9 tackles, AJ.
Okay, well,
in my stat machine here.
ESPN has him at 10 and 7. So I mean, we'll say
we'll split the difference, 9.5.
9.5. Yeah. Regardless, he played really well and really stepped up.
I just didn't want the people to think that all of my stats for this broadcast were wrong. I already got the Josh Allen first half passing stats wrong. I didn't want them to completely disregard all the stats moving forward on this podcast.
Hey, it's week 1, right? It's week 1, so there's no room for any concern there. You're doing a fine job over there. So, but yeah, I think with Cam Lewis, he really showed up and stepped up in that dime safety role that they were going to ask him to be. He was playing well, and then they threw him into the slot corner spot, making Jamarcus Ingram take over that dime safety role where he really made the play on 4th down to end the game. Yep. So I think all in all, it was just the step up, next man up mentality. Alex, we've heard it all off season. When Matt Milano went down, next man up, right? And that's what the Bills did today on defense. And again, it's a concern moving forward. The Taron Johnson, Matt Milano, you're losing 2 All-Pros, probably the 2 most valuable pieces on defense. Is really concerning. But you get the job done at home, and again, you can flip the page to Miami and hope that the play from Lewis and Ingram can continue to progress.
Are we missing anything else on the defensive side of the ball? Not a big day from Ed Oliver today. DeMar Hamlin out there for his first start. I thought he fared pretty well. You didn't see many breakdowns in the secondary from the Bills. And anything else on the defensive side of the ball?
I thought Daquan Jones was quiet, but he had that nice pass deflection late in the 4th quarter, or in the second half there, where he came away with a nice pass breakup. AJ Epinesa as well had a couple times where he came around the edge. He didn't get to the quarterback, but got his hands in the air and threw a little errant throws from Kyler Murray. So the defensive line, they really started slow, and I was concerned because he was running all over the place. He was able to get through his reads. A lot of players open underneath, right, getting that yards after the catch. But the defensive line adjusted. You saw a lot more pressure from Bobby Babich in the second half, and overall, Terrell Bernard did also lead the team in tackles. I have 10 solo for Terrell Bernard, so he also had, I would say, not the greatest game. I thought early on, especially, there were some times where he missed some tackles, but overall, he did what he was asked to do and did a good job. So. Yeah, those are a couple other things that I would like to have.
I got him with 11, AJ. We got to get you on NFLGSIS.com.
11 total, 10 solo. Excuse me.
Right,
I'll clarify. Right. 10 solo tackles. 10 solo tackles.
Fair enough. We're on the same wavelength. Before we get to the offense, AJ, 96-yard kick return when it seemed like the Bills had put the game out of reach. They go up by 10 in the 4th quarter, and then they give up that 96-yard return to DJ Davis, a household name if I've ever heard one. Big concern there, as the Bills special teams has left a lot to be desired these past few years. It was a concern coming into the season, losing so many contributors in that phase of the game, and to give up a 96-yard return. Tyler Bass also had a kickoff go out of bounds. So some concerns on the new kickoff for sure coming out of this game.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. I feel like both teams kind of struggled. Arizona as well had a couple
unfortunate might be putting it lightly.
Yeah, so I think with Matthew Smiley, there's a lot of questions. The kickoff return was obviously more than unfortunate. You take a 31-20 lead, and you give up an instant touchdown to cut the lead to within 5. Then you give it a 2-point conversion on a James Conner handoff, and right then now you're looking at a 3-point lead, dead in the eyes with about 8 minutes remaining. So that was definitely a turning point. The Bills were able to adjust and get by. Again, the defense really stepped up late and kind of not bailed out the offense, but the offense was unable to really move the ball. They got the ball in nice field position off that shank of a punt by Arizona that actually ended up at like the 39-yard line. So they were able to move the ball, but really the defense sealed the deal, sealed the victory. But again, I'm with you on the special teams. It is concerning, despite Tyler Bass making his kicks, which is a positive here, especially the one to go up 6 late, the 39-yarder. That's a solid kick into the wind.
And it was windy out here. As you're seeing on this broadcast, my hood flying up, my computer shaking. It was windy out here and kind of a swirling wind. Perhaps that 96-yard return, he couldn't quite get it to the end zone because the wind is blowing so hard from that scoreboard end to this way. I think the wind really impacted things on that kick. Did you have anything else there? I know I cut you
No,
off.
that's all. I'm kind of disagreeing with your sentiment. I thought there were moments like individual players like Tyler Bass, Casey Tuhill made a nice tackle on a kickoff to pin the the Cardinals deep in their own territory.
Oh,
But
did you almost forget who
overall,
they
I think
played?
yeah, I did actually.
You almost
I did.
forgot who the Bills played, AJ. It's been that kind of a week, huh? And you had a day off yesterday. Come on.
You know
now.
why? Because DJ Dallas was in Seattle for so long. So we're talking about DJ Dallas, and I'm thinking about I'm like, wait, it's not Seattle because I'm thinking DJ Dallas. He's like, I don't know. I think Seattle DJ Dallas for some reason.
So I joke about DJ Dallas not being a household name, but to you, DJ Dallas is like
Yeah.
it's like Barry Sanders.
Yes, yeah, and he looked like Barry Sanders on that play. Great,
Yeah.
he was a great finish to the return, and Bills players couldn't catch him. So yeah, I think it was an underwhelming and a pretty inspiring performance from the special teams unit. But again, Tyler Bass made his kicks, and there were a couple individual players that made some plays.
One more thing on special teams. This is a positive takeaway. Bills' new kick returner, Brandon Codrington, a big return, over 50 yards. I think it went for 53, AJ?
Yes, correct. You are
50?
correct.
Look at that. I'm the stat king. I'll tell you
Yep.
that. That's what people have always said about me. 53-yard return for Brandon Codrington. And while I may have some concerns with how they covered kicks, to see Codrington burst out of the gates with a big return, he could be exactly what they brought him in to be.
Yeah, they won the trade, right? The Jets really threw him away for nothing, and I think Codrington, he brings that. Brandon Beane talked about it, like he was asked about it after the trade happened, and he said everything that we saw that he put on film in the preseason was a guy that knows exactly what he's asked to do as a returner, and we trust him 100%. He comes in off the street, not off the street, but from a Jets team where he has no. And I get it. Returning isn't that much of a. You don't have to really. What's the word I'm looking for? Not assimilate.
Right. It's not something that you really need to learn the system in or anything like that. It's kind of just catch and go.
Right, but still, I think for them to trust Codrington and just put him out there and for what he did, I think that's also a good sign, and hopefully that continues again, like you said, to kind of progress throughout the season, and they can continue to get more out of him as the year goes on.
All right, before we get too deep into this podcast, let us thank our sponsor once again, Forefathers Organics in Dansville, where their mission is to liberate, educate, and innovate with the highest quality CBD and hemp-derived products for your mind, body, and soul so you can live happy and free. Visit them at 87 Franklin Street in Dansville, online at forefathersorganics.com, or call them at 585-335-2223 to learn more about the products they offer. So, AJ, let's talk about Josh Allen's performance. He only throws 5 passes in that first half, completes all 5 of them. Doesn't really involve Dalton Kincaid at all throughout the course of this game, but Keon Coleman gets involved, the team's leading receiver with 51 yards receiving. Khalil Shakir with a touchdown, really acting like a pinball all day long, bouncing off defenders, refusing to go down. And then James Cook, a big day, over 100 total yards, 103 yards from scrimmage on 22 touches. So James Cook, another productive day to begin this season. And Mac Hollins found the end zone as well in his first game as a Buffalo Bill. And 9 different receivers, 9 catching balls for the Bills today. So they wanted to deploy that everybody eats mentality this year on offense, particularly in that wide receiving core. That's exactly what they did today, getting everybody involved.
Yeah, I thought, early on, I thought Josh Allen
might need a trip to the ENT, the ear, nose, and throat doctor, AJ.
Yeah. Josh Allen, I think early on in the first half was just a little bit holding on to the ball too much. Again, I felt like he really couldn't get in a rhythm. They were finding that rhythm on that first drive to kind of answer to that Cardinals touchdown. But then the fumble happened and because he held onto the ball too long, which resulted in the fumble and the turnover there. So I think early on in the game, Josh's ability was in play style was a little bit hesitant and kind of didn't go through his reads beautifully and fluently as I thought he would. But in the second half, I mean, he was getting through his reads, putting the ball on the money, pretty accurate. He missed that deep ball to MVS, which is still a tough throw, but probably a throw he wants back because the safety on the right side of the field was nowhere to be seen, and MVS had leverage on the safety on the left side of the field on that post route. So all in all, though, a great performance from Josh. I thought he used his legs well, right? The play that really comes to mind is when he steps up in the pocket on a 3rd and 11 on the go-ahead touchdown drive to Khalil Shakir, and the Arizona defender comes flying in, kind of brushes off the tackle, gets to the right, and right before he's going out of bounds, flings one down the right sideline to James Cook. He gets upfield for a nice 25, 30-yard gain. And that's just the brilliance of Josh Allen and showing off, like, hey, 3rd and 11, you have a free rusher coming at me, I can still get the job done and do it. So just an MVP-type performance for Josh on Sunday.
Yeah, this was an exhibition in terms of evading pressure put on by not only Josh Allen, but Kyler Murray, 2 of the best in the game at getting away from penetration in the pocket. And I posted a meme, or I guess a GIF on Twitter. Is it GIF or GIF, AJ? How do you pronounce it?
I say GIF. I'm a GIF guy.
So I think it's GIF of that Dennis Rodman throughout the Last Dance documentary where he's describing and he's pointing. That's Josh Allen evading pressure in the pocket. It's just amazing to watch him navigate and get away from so many defenders on a given play. There was a play today before I posted that GIF. It seemed like he got away from the entire defensive front on part of the Cardinals and then completed a ball down the field. It's just unbelievable to watch him work. And he, like I said, really put this team on his back. And it was said throughout the offseason, if this team has Josh Allen, they can beat anybody and do anything. And overcoming a 14-point first-half deficit when things looked as bleak as they did, I think this was proof positive that when you have Josh Allen, you always have a chance to win. Now, will they play tougher opponents than the Arizona Cardinals? Of course. But will the Bills be more acclimated to this team, to this new look offense, to all the changes that they've undergone throughout the offseason as the season goes? Also, yes. They come into this game, like I said, with all those changes. I think it was expected to see some growing pains, maybe not as look as sloppy as the Bills did today. I mean, all the pre-snap penalties, just the penalties in general in that first half were really bordering on embarrassing for the Bills. But kudos to them to get things under control and put forth a quality second half and really show the people and the fans in attendance the team that they expect themselves to be and the standard that they look to uphold on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, it felt like early on in this game, the Bills, like you said, were kind of beating themselves. And I put it out there. And that was kind of before I think Kyler Murray was really doing whatever he wanted against this Bills defense. But I think with the Bills early on, you saw, back-to-back false start penalties on Deion Dawkins and Spencer Brown, right? 2 veteran players that just can't happen. And Spencer Brown, they didn't really complain about it. Dawkins kind of argued the call, said he was trying to get his left foot in his stance, but
after the game, Dawkins said, "I love our refs, but they're out here practicing too," meaning it's week 1 for the refs too. So I don't think he was happy with a couple of the calls that were called against him. He was called for holding once or twice as well.
Yeah, there were some shaky calls. I mean, the clear out, Deion's clear out on that quick screen to Khalil Shakir. I mean, he just eliminated that defender, and Shakir, his after the catch ability is magical. It's so fun to watch him with the ball in his hands. Yeah, so yeah, I think that the penalties hurt. My dad was keeping notes next to me. After the first penalty that was called in the Bills, that wasn't a penalty. Jamarcus Ingram let up, did not touch Kyler Murray, and they called
terrible call.
That was a 4-point swing. So my dad's writing it down, 4-point swing. Then the next drive, the Bills fumble it, and they go down and score a touchdown. He's like, 10-point swing. Here's another 10-point swing. And then I forget exactly what the third thing was that didn't go their way in the first half, but it resulted in like another 3-4-point swing for the Cardinals in their favor. So I think it was just an unfortunate, sloppy start for the Bills, but they brought it together, found their rhythm late in the first half, and were able to just kind of use that momentum that they made at the end of the first half and just carried it through the rest of the way.
Yeah. Third down conversions were a problem for the Bills defense. They allowed far too many during that first half. 5 of 7 for the Cardinals on third down in that first half. They finished the game in the second half 2 of 6. So much better performance from the Bills on third down in that second half. The Bills end up outgaining the Cardinals 352 to 270 in this game. They did have 9 penalties for 65 yards. Have to get that cleaned up, but Tyler Bass makes both of his field goals. You outpossess the Cardinals by a minute exactly. You outgain them. From how things started to how things finished, if you were to kind of put that first half and kind of erase it and just look at the second half and look at how this team played, I think there's a lot of positive takeaways going in to week 2.
Yeah, for sure. I'm feeling good with where they're at. I thought Keon Coleman flashed more than I expected him to. Now, I do expect
How about
more.
that catch? Talk about the catch he made down the sideline, ripping it away from the defender.
that just really showed, I think, to me, like, it was a great play by Keon. Like, he ripped the ball away. It was the defender was right on him. It was a back shoulder. The ball was probably fluttering in the air. The wind was probably moving it all around, and Keon, like, tracked it and showed that he can win on the boundary. That's what, a big reason why they brought him in. But I think it shows the trust that Keon and Josh have. Instead of Josh maybe leading him, which he could have done, and I don't know if this was on purpose, maybe it wasn't, but he kind of put the ball just kind of up in the air and said, Keon, I trust you to come down with this ball and go get it. And I don't know if he ever really had that with a Gabe Davis. And what he did, he had a pretty good game today. I had Red Zone on next to me, and he was playing okay, had some decent plays, but
did you see what Stephon Diggs did today?
I did see what Stephon Diggs today. He was
all right. We'll just move right along. We'll move right along.
He was balling. He was balling. But yeah, I thought it just showed the ultimate trust with Josh and Keon, and I think that's great for your quarterback and for Keon, right, to really build that relationship right away in week one and just really throw the ball up there. He comes down with it. You could see him. He was excited. And I thought he really flashed more than I expected. And again, I'm expecting a way heavier dose of Dalton Kincaid moving forward. I think that was a rarity from what we saw today. And I'm interested to see how they use him in week 2 against the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think that may have just been a product of the matchup here today. The Cardinals defense not very strong, particularly up front. The Bills coming out wanting to establish the run in the first half, and I think that was why you didn't see Kincaid on the field as often. You even saw Quentin Morris on the field instead of Kincaid early in that game. But yeah, I think we'll see more from Kincaid as the season goes along. And like I said, I don't think he's necessarily a matchup player. He's going to be more consistently used and used more often than not. But I don't think today was the matchup that pointed toward a big Kincaid day in retrospect. At the beginning of the game, I thought that, hey, they'll come out, they'll try to establish this guy, get him off to a hot start. But as things kind of progressed throughout the first half, you realized what the Bills were trying to do. They were trying to run the ball, trying to use that big offensive line that they've made a few changes along this year. And I thought the offensive line did a really nice job today. I had some questions about them during the offseason in terms of pass protection and that strip sack with Josh Allen. You hinted at it earlier. It was because he held on to the ball too long. That's not on the offensive line. So great job in the running game by the offensive line and protected Allen well as well. Did he get sacked, AJ?
Was Josh Allen sacked? I think just the strip sack. That might have been it. I could actually pull this up. They had 2 sacks, so there was 2 sacks. Roy Lopez had one, and Cottrell Clark for the Cardinals. So 2 total sacks for.
So a solid job from the offensive line. I thought a good start for them under Aaron Kromer. Outside of the incessant penalties, particularly the inexcusable one from Osiris Torrance, which really cost them. The offensive face mask. That's 2 offensive face masks called on the Bills in 2 seasons. I think those are the only 2 I've seen in my entire life.
Yeah, that was and that was weird by Torrance. Like, not only did he grab the face mask, like James Cook was running in the B gap, which is right next to Torrance, and he was grabbing the face mask of the Cardinals and did not let go right in front of the official. So easy call. That was another. Sorry, it wasn't James Cook. It was Josh Allen. But as he scored the touchdown, they thought it would be, but then they called it back and ended up with. He thought he got hip drop tackled on a 3rd and goal from the 19, but that was not the case. So they kicked the field goal there and settled. But yeah, I do think this Bills team can be a lot better, obviously, but you still find a way to win. That's the goal. Find a way. Sean McDermott, that was kind of the post-game speech the Bills posted, was they found a way. That's how you get it done. Kind of called up Jamarcus Ingram up there in front of the whole team to give him the team their applaud for what Jamarcus Ingram did during the game. So all in all, the Bills, and I think they can play a lot better. But they're with this offensive line, I think there's still a lot to be determined. But Connor McGovern, David Edwards, I thought played really well in space today. Deion Dawkins was moving all over the place. Spencer Brown was moving. The offensive line was just very active, very physical, and was just finishing blocks and making holes for James Cook, Josh Allen, and Ray Davis, and Ty Johnson.
Anything else we're missing on offense, AJ? I think we covered it all. We went defense, special teams, and now offense. Is there anything on offense that you'd like to add? Excuse me.
I would like to see Dawson Knox block a little bit better, especially for the role he's asked to be with use. He's going to be the inline tight end a lot. He whiffed a block in the second half that resulted in a loss for James Cook. But overall, I thought he had a nice catch there. I thought it was a great play design, the fake pitch, kind of get the defender to freeze, and then Dawson Knox just literally just right from the inline spot and right up the middle of the field and got like 20 yards out of it. So Dawson
I think
Knox,
you
I
were
thought
right
played,
there. I think it was 23 exactly. You were going to be right, I think.
yeah. So it was a nice play from Dawson Knox, and that's a positive because he's a guy that you want to see him build off of a very injury plagued and underwhelming 2023 season.
All right, so before we get out of here and close the pod, we'll thank our friends at Forefathers Organics in Dansville.
Unlock the power of nature with Forefathers Organics, your premium CBD store. We offer the highest quality CBD and hemp products to liberate your mind, body, and soul, helping you live happy and free. Our mission is driven by excellence and transparency using cutting-edge scientific methods to combat stress and target issues at their source. From potent ingestible CBD to soothing topicals, all our products are USDA certified organic. Discover all natural wellness from farm to table. Visit forefathersorganics.com for more information.
All right, AJ, that's just going to about do it for us on the podcast right here, right now. Our first post-game podcast of the regular season. Coming up next for the Bills, a Thursday night matchup in Miami against the divisional rival Dolphins, who also won today, a comeback win over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tyreek Hill gets arrested before the game and comes through with an 80-yard touchdown during the game, does the handcuff celebration in the end zone. He is just unstoppable, and Bills will have to contend with him in that high-powered offense next week in Miami. What are you looking forward to most out of this week? Obviously, we are anticipating an injury update on Taron Johnson tomorrow from Sean McDermott. Hopefully a positive one on Josh Allen as well. And hopefully all other players came out unscathed from this game. But what are you looking forward to most coming up this week, Dolphins week?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, Josh Allen, 10-2 record, right, against the Dolphins in his career. So a lot of success. I thought the Dolphins, they kind of played that gritty style again, fell behind, fell in a hole. They were down 14-3 in the first half, found a way. Jason Saunders comes away with a huge kick to end the game and seal the deal. And I think, the Jaguars, just Trevor Lawrence, I don't know. He's my dynasty quarterback, and I'm just kind of losing hope in terms of what his ceiling can be. He's kind of just plateauing in my eyes of where he's at. But again, nonetheless, the Dolphins get it done. Big win for them. Tyreek Hill touchdown. I don't know if you saw it, but I mean, the two defenders were probably a yard behind him, and he still literally no angle and still got upfield and was able to just scurry to the end. It's insane his speed. So you gotta make sure you keep him in check, keep everything in front of you. Jalen Waddle, he left with a concussion. I'm unsure of his status as of now, but all in all, I think this Bills defense will need to not rush, with better gap integrity against Tua, but maybe quicker, right? He gets ball out of his hands so fast. So that's going to be a major focal point, I think, for this Bills defensive line is you got to get there quick, get your hands up because Tua is going to get rid of the ball in a split of a second. And you can find ways to get this guy down. He's not elusive. He's not going to be a Kyler Murray. He's not going to take off. So I think this Bills defensive line will have a new quarterback, a guy that's still probably a better thrower than Kyler Murray, but the mobility part of it, I think the Bills can maybe take advantage of in week 2.
How about your bets in fantasy this week, AJ? How you doing? I'm projected to win by a slim margin in one of my leagues, projected to win by a wide margin in the other. Have yet to make any bets today. Might do so during the night game, but how have things been faring for you in terms of the gambling fantasy scene?
Fantasy, have not checked my teams because I've been, I'm honestly the guy, I play fantasy because I do like it and it's fun to keep track of your team, but I'm a guy that kind of after the 1 o'clock games, I'll check it. Obviously I set my lineups each week and make sure everything's settled, but I'm not a huge fantasy guy. So I don't really know how my teams are doing. I know Stevenson he scored a touchdown. Jefferson he scored a touchdown. So that's cool. I put a futures bet. I haven't bet yet today. But I have a futures bet on Sam Darnold for 19.5 or 20.5 passing touchdowns over. And dude, he's looking real good, Alex. He's looking really good. So,
lost Jordan Addison in that game though.
Yeah, that's a blow. So all in all though, the betting side of it, pretty cool. I think my dad had a couple. I think you have James Conner anytime touchdown that he put in, so he hit on that and maybe a couple other things. But all in all, yeah, again, a good day. The Bills win. Fantasy teams, it looks like from what I assume they're doing good. I don't really know who I play though, so hopefully I didn't play a Saquon Barkley or anything like that.
I did.
Yeah, you did. So it's a good day. It's a good time. We're back. NFL's back week 1. It's a great time of the year.
All right, sounds good. That's going to do it for today's show. The Bills win over the Cardinals, begin the season at 1-0. Didn't seem like we were going to be here talking about a win, but hey, that's how things go in Buffalo sometimes. For Ajay Cybulski, Alex Brasky, we'll see you next time.
Peace out.